Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Pointy Not Sharp. Today we're taking a look at something really special. This is a Russian 6X9-1. This is the current bayonet they're using with the AK12 rifle. And if I can get that to focus please. And really it'll fit any of their AK rifles, I believe. So I believe it'll also fit like the AKM, AK74 and the AK100 series. Now the bayonet itself is made by, as you can see here on the scabbard, KAMPO. That's the Russian translation of it. In English it's KAMPO. And they've been making them since at least 2016. And it appears they've made 200 to 300,000 of these and have since stopped production. Now, I'll jump into a little bit of history. So around 2013, I think it was, Russia started the Ratnik program, which was the Future Infantry Combat System. That was just like a modernization project to bring in a full new set of kit for infantry, including, like modern protective equipment, communication, weapons, ammo, everything including bayonets. And this is the part of the Ratnik program that we're concerned about today. Now, when the AK-12 was initially developed in 2012, early photographs of it have it sitting next to an old 6X5 style of bayonet. This is what you see on all of the early photographs. So I'll just put that to the side. I'm not sure exactly when they moved to the 6X9, but at some point we have. Now, while we don't know much about the initial development, we do know a little bit about KAMPO, the company that makes this bayonet here. So KAMPO, they're a very large company and they're very diverse. They make a lot of stuff. So they're involved in everything from shipbuilding to medical equipment, aviation, and diving gear. And one thing I noticed is they have a history of making very, very nice diving knives. So that's where I think they've made their bid and got their fingers into the contract for the Ratnik program and designed a new bayonet for Russia, or at least they were the ones who would asked to produce it. Whether or not they designed it, I can't say. Now, I've come across 4 different versions of this bayonet. There is the initial prototype version, which is the SHN-2, marked WH-2, which I believe is the translation, the Russian translation for SHN. So I believe that's the prototype. Then we have the actual production version, which is what we have here, the 6X9-1. And this is the one they made in big numbers, so 200 to 300,000. And currently in use in the Russo-Ukraine war at the moment. Now, there's also a civilian model that's referred to as the KAMPO knife, and I believe that is just the 6X9 model, so no -1. And that version is essentially what we have here, except we don't have a muzzle ring and we don't have a mortise or a press button. And finally, there is the maquette version. These are seen in museums. They're just marked maquette across the crossguard. And from what I can tell, they're just like a exhibition model. Well, that's what I've been told anyway. I can't speak too much for them. But the initial type, I'll jump back to the SHN-2. That has a different blade profile to what we have here. That has a half fuller, and it has 2 separate portions of the blade. So I've got a couple of good photos of that and a decent drawing depicting the difference. Now in, well, I don't know exactly when, but the 6X9-1, this one here, has been discontinued. And apparently they're now making a new version, which is very similar to this, except the plastic handle continues all the way up, and instead of having this little forward-facing metal quillen, now we have a plastic component there instead. I haven't been able to track down any of those on the commercial market yet. Even these ones here are incredibly difficult to get. This one belongs to a collector who's kind enough to let me come up and film it. I've seen one on eBay selling for about $2,000 at the moment, so prices are still ridiculous. I was hoping they'd become much more readily available with the Russo-Ukrainian war, but it doesn't seem to have eventuated just yet. Apparently only very small numbers of these have been captured in Ukraine and made it their way into the market. Now, all that aside, we'll jump into the construction, and while it looks quite small, I believe that's because the handle is actually quite large. It's actually a decent sized blade. So I'm 6'3", and that's still quite big for me. It's a decent size. The blade itself is quite heavy, very solid, very thick compared to a lot of other bayonets I've come across. And we've got our circular fuller on both sides of the blade. We've got a sharpened true edge and an unsharpened false edge. Moving down, we've got our really thick crossguard, although it's not terribly heavy, so I wonder if it's made of aluminium or something like that. I'm not terribly sure. It could be steel. The whole thing is very heavy, it's hard to tell. Got our muzzle ring, and the crossguard here, I'm not sure what kind of surface that is, whether it's been painted or cerakoted or something like that. I'm not terribly sure, and I'm not terribly educated in finishes, so I won't comment on it too much. Moving down, we've got a nice sort of rubbery plastic grip. I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it's quite comfortable, and it bulges out in the middle, which I quite like. Then we've got a hole here, which I assume is for maybe a lanyard or something like that, a wrist strap. And then moving down to the pommel, this looks like a glass breaker on the bottom. Got our mortise with a nice little ramped lug, and the attachment system is a little bit cheap, I feel. For Russia anyway. I feel they could have done a better job. It feels very very light, almost like a Chinese one, but very simple. Just got a ramped lug in there, and you press the button and it raises, similar to an American one, except the American ones are on both sides. Now moving down to the scabbard and the frog, got like a green canvas frog with a molly attachment on the back. Just snaps on and slides out of the frog. I'll move that to the side. On the back we have what feels like a sharpening stone. So it looks like it's metal, but it's got a very coarse feel to it, so I'm not sure exactly what that's made of. And then we have a wire cutter here on the scabbard. Very cool little scabbard, don't mind it too much. I'll move those to the side because the bayonet comes with a couple of extras as well. So it comes with a clip-on leg strap, which I assume would go through this small hole here in the bottom of the frog. So you put that around your leg to stop it bouncing around while going for a run or when out in the field. And it comes with this strap here as well, with this like Alice clip, and I've been told that it's likely a wrist strap, and there's apparently photographs out there of it being used as a wrist strap, so that's what I believe it likely is. Anyway, I'll put those to the side, and finally we'll jump into the markings. So, as I already said, the markings on the early prototype, that'll just have WH-2 and maybe the KAMPO mark there as well. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. The first models, which we have here, have the KAMPO 6X9-1 and a serial number on the right ricasso. And that's all you'll find on the bayonet as far as I can tell. The civilian models, I'm not sure what they have, so I'll just put the markings up on the screen and I'll let you decide for yourself. I probably should have paid more attention prior to filming this. And the maquette version, instead of having 6X9-1, they say maquette. The only other marking you really have is the manufacturer's marking here on the scabbard, and that is the KAMPO mark with their logo just here. So this is a very cool bayonet. I'm very lucky to have the chance to film it today, and I'm definitely going to try and get one for myself. I want to get one of the new ones with that new style of handle, because at the moment they're just unobtainium. No one seems to have them, so hopefully a few of them will trickle out of Ukraine in the coming months or years. Anyway guys, that's all I've really got to say about it. If I've made any errors, please comment below and correct me. And thanks for watching.